Adoption laws in South Korea are governed by the Adoption Act, which has undergone significant reforms in recent years, especially to align with international standards and improve the welfare of children. South Korea has historically had a high rate of international adoptions, but there has been a strong push to reduce this in favor of domestic adoptions. Reflecting societal shifts and changing views on adoption. Domestic adoption. In South Korea, adoption is primarily for children whose biological parents are either unable or unwilling to care for them. Biological parents can voluntarily relinquish their parental rights, or the court can terminate their rights if the parents are deemed unfit due to issues like abuse, neglect, or abandonment. This process is overseen by family courts to ensure that the child's best interests are met. To adopt domestically, applicants must meet specific requirements. Age. Generally, adoptive parents must be between the ages of 25 and 44. There are exceptions, but priority is given to couples in this age range. Marital status. Preference is given to married couples, and single individuals are usually not considered unless under special circumstances. Home study and background checks. The prospective adoptive parents undergo extensive background checks and a home study to assess their financial stability, mental health, and parenting abilities. Court approval. The final decision rests with the family court, which considers the suitability of the adopting parents and the welfare of the child. If approved, the adoption is legally finalized. International adoption. South Korea has historically been one of the largest sources of internationally adopted children, especially after the Korean War, but recent efforts have aimed to reduce the number of children sent abroad. In 2013, South Korea ratified the Hague Convention on Inter-Country Adoption, which requires countries to ensure that international adoptions are ethical and that children are not trafficked or exploited. To adopt a child internationally, prospective parents must work with licensed adoption agencies. The process includes eligibility. Adoptive parents must meet specific criteria set by South Korea, including being married for a certain number of years, being in good health, and having stable financial backgrounds. Home study and preparation. Just like in domestic adoptions, international adoptive parents undergo a home study, psychological evaluations, and parenting classes. Court process. Once a suitable match is found, the adoption must be approved by a South Korean court before the child can be sent abroad. The court examines the child's best interests and ensures the adoptive parents are fit to provide care. Challenges and reforms. Despite these efforts, South Korea still faces challenges regarding adoption. The societal stigma surrounding adoption, especially of children born to unwed mothers, continues to be an issue. Many children in South Korea are placed in orphanages or with foster families due to the lack of acceptance for unwed mothers and their children. However, recent reforms aim to encourage domestic adoption by removing barriers, such as the stigma around single mothers, and increasing support for adoptive families. Conclusion. South Korea's adoption laws have evolved significantly, focusing on the child's well-being, ethical practices, and reducing international adoptions. Domestic adoption is preferred, with rigorous checks and court oversight, while international adoption is heavily regulated to ensure compliance with international standards. Although progress has been made, there is still work to be done to overcome cultural stigmas and ensure all children have the opportunity to grow up in stable, loving homes.